Hey guys, Alirza here and welcome back to another video. So in this one we are going to look at how we can make objects rotate based on the position of our player. So here, as you can see, the drone is always looking at the player and its rotation is set based on the position of our third person character. So let's jump right in and see how we can set this up. Alright, here in my scene, as you can see, I only have an SM cube which functions as my floor and a directional light to light up the scene. This is a third person template, so when I play the game I can control my third person character and I want this drone to face my third person character when I move in the level. Here I have this model that is imported from Sketchfab, and obviously you can use your own models to set up the system as well. Here are the textures, here are the materials, and I also made a light material to make the drone look cooler. Alright, now we need to make a blueprint and add some nodes to it to make it rotate based on the position of our third person character. So here, right click, go for a blueprint class, go for actor and name it BP drone. Let's open it up, and the first thing we need to do here is to add our drone static mesh. So here in your components tab, hit add, search for static mesh. You can find it right here in the comment tab, and then let's name it drone. Then we need to assign the drone static mesh to this slot here. So hit Ctrl space to open up your content browser, and here drag the static mesh into this slot here. Now you can see we have our drone in our blueprint. Here there is no material slot to assign the light material, so I want to do a little trick here and I just want to add a sphere, name it light, then adjust it like this and assign the light material to it. Now I have a light inside the drone, and as you can see it looks much cooler. The next thing you need to do is to parent the light to the drone so they rotate and move with each other. Alright, now let's put the drone in the level and see how it looks. Yeah, it's looking great. And now we need to define the rotation based on the position of our third person character. So let's go back to our drone and open up our event graph. Alright, the first thing we need to do here is to get access to the location of our third person character. Here, as you can see, we need the location of the third person, so we need to access the third person character blueprint from our BP drone. There are a couple of ways to do it. For example, you can use a get all actors of class function and here define the class that you want to talk to, or you can cast to the third person character. It doesn't matter which method you use. So in this case we are going to use casting. Drag off a wire, cast to BP third person character, and for the object we need a get player character function. Now when the game is played, the drone casts to our third person character, and here we have access to the attributes of our third person character. So here we need to set this third person character as a variable so we can use the attributes. So here drag off a wire, promote this to a variable, and now here you can see that we have a variable which is set on our BP third person character. Now, for example, we can use this and get the actor's location and print it on event tick. So here we have an event tick and we have a print string function, and for the text we are getting the third person character location and writing it in our viewport. So here you can see that I have the location of my third person character. Alright, now we need to set the rotation of our drone based on this value here. There is a very cool function called find look at rotation. This function does the job for us. So it needs a start position and a target position, and the result will be the rotation that rotates the object towards the object that we want to look at. So here we need a set actor rotation function, and for the value of the rotation we are going to use this function here. So just plug this in. Then for the start we need to grab the location of our drone. So here just drag off a wire and search for get actor location, and the target is self, meaning that it will get the location of our drone here. And for the target we are going to use the location of our third person character. So here just unplug this and plug this in, and that's it. Now on event tick the rotation of the drone will be set in a way that it always looks at our third person character. So if you play the game you can see that it's looking at our third person character all the time. Another thing you can do is to make the rotation a little bit smoother. Here you can see that it snaps to the rotation that we set, which is not the best movement for the drone. So here, for example, if we add a delay here for 2 seconds and then play the game, you can see that it snaps to the new rotation, and in order to make it look better we can make the rotation a little bit smoother. So here in the drone we are going to add a function called Rinterp 2. What it does is that it smooths the rotation of the objects. So here it needs a current rotation, a target rotation, delta time, and the speed. So first let's get rid of these two here and add this to our flow. So the current rotation is the rotation of the drone. So all we need to do is to grab the rotation of our actor. So get actor rotation, and the target is self. The target is this value here. So let's unplug it and plug this to the target and use this for our new rotation. Next we need to define the speed. So for example, let's set the speed on 1, and for the delta time we need to plug this value here. This function works with our event tick. So as you can see we have a delta time and delta seconds, and this should be connected to our delta time. Now let's play the game, and here as you can see we have a smooth movement. I think the speed is too low, so for example, let's set it on 3. Now you can see that it looks much cooler and much better. Another thing you might notice is that in your message log, you can see these errors. The reason is that here in our event tick, we are using this value here, but here we have a 2 seconds delay before we set this, meaning that for the first 2 seconds this event tick is functioning, there is no variable stored here, so it doesn't have access to anything for the target, and this is the reason that you get errors. So all you need to do is to check if this is valid or not. Here, drag of a wire, search for is valid, then here for the input object, just plug this in, and now you're good to go. So if this is not valid, nothing happens and you won't see any errors, and if this is valid, which will be after 2 seconds, then this function will be called and these will happen. So here you can see that it's working perfectly and you don't have any errors in your message log. The last thing I want to mention is that you can set this up for your other characters as well. For example, if you have a first person template, you can cast to your first person character, and then here when you promote this to a variable, it's going to be set on a first person character and the rest will use this variable instead. So you can basically use any other character or actors to make your drone look at. Yeah, and that's it for this tutorial, and if you learned something new from this video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.